Hey everybody, it's the Abstractionist. How are you? So this is going to be maybe a quick video, I don't know. Just popping in, saying I'm alive. I've been a little bit more active on my writing channel, making videos on that. And then my what was supposed to be my womb channel turned into my just home life channel. So yeah, I just wanted to stop by though because I was cleaning this a table behind me in the living room, and I came across this, and I have a video where I had Damiana, I think I had herbal cigarettes with Damiana in it, and then I have this drops, from Ritual Craft. And Ritual Craft used to be a place I used to try and hit up a lot, and I guess I'm just not in the space right now for a lot of things. But because I got this, I saw this, I would decide to do a, I don't know, retrospective kind of video, or remember, kind of video about this experience with Damiana and kind of where I see myself going. Now, I'm not going to drink this again and consume this again. I don't know if it's gotten bad or what, but you can see quite a few particles in there, and I'm not taking the risk. But I am just going to reflect on my time using it. It's about halfway full, so I did go through it pretty consistently. I think this time in my life was kind of leading right up to my massage school journey, which was around 2021, or a little bit. It was either 2021, between 2021 and 2023-ish is when I took this. And then I had an edible experience and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, closer to the 2021 side. And so reflecting on that and taking plan and dealing with the herbal side of things and the darker side of things, I think I want to get back into this kind of stuff. I don't want to get into necessarily doing the tinctures. I think I would just like to learn about herbal practice and things like that. One of my main goals is to eventually grow a garden of some sorts, flowers and things like that, and maybe edible flowers and maybe things like that where I can make teas and herbal preparations, not necessarily things on this path. I know there's one store that's specifically poison path products. It's not Ritual Craft, I don't think. But they have a apothecary, divination, crystals, and all that kind of stuff. I am kind of yearning to go back to the time where I feel like I was a lot more interested and involved in my practice, and for some reason it's changed a lot. And I know I'm meant to change and grow out of it a little bit, but I'm being called back to the herbal stuff because I'm plants, dealing with my plants that are here, and the spirit of plants and animism. And there's something about getting back into that and almost needing the space and the time to develop as a person to go back into it. And it may not be go back into it real seriously, but I think that it's one of those things where I just miss it a little bit. I don't necessarily think I will pursue any sort of psychedelic, herbal, psychologically, mind altering kind of experiences. I don't even think I would pursue meditative practices and things like that. I think getting deeper and learning about my actual environment that I live in, growing things, growing food, growing plants, learning how to cook, getting grounded in that. I think a more grounded ritual practice that centers around the domestic sphere. I guess it would be a kitchen witch type thing, if you're gonna call it that. And I just feel energetically interested in doing that kind of stuff. I have a little bit more space to craft a room devoted to actually reading and doing my art and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm up for that. I was looking at some decks. I'm getting back into the feeling of wanting to get decks and use them and figure out what I want to do. I just feel like I feel like it was just a little bit of a shift that I needed to make and figure out like how deep I was going to go with it. I don't see myself being a full-time tarot reader, spiritual practitioner, but I do feel like the cooking thing and the herbal gardening kind of thing will be more of my speed. I do think also getting it back into my art practice will help. I'm wrapping up my time as an MFA creative writing student, and so I have one more degree, and maybe two more degrees, the way I'm looking at it, before I like give up schooling forever. But it seems like this is more nuanced kind of energy that I'm working my way through. So I just remember being pulled to this and looking at the tinctures and thinking about what they did. And I remember the video where like I feel like when I was meditating with it, it was a lot of like not rage, slight anger, stuff like that. Like I felt like I was dissatisfied. That's more the word, dissatisfied with things. And I feel like quite a few things have shifted. Quite a few people that were in my life during that time are no longer in my life. Romantically, I have shifted and grown as a person. And I kind of feel like what was important to me back then isn't so important to me now. And I've also crossed the threshold of my Saturn return, essentially. This upcoming birthday I'll be essentially kind of out of the time, like the time span that it is occurring. Of course, it go retrograde and stuff like that, but like essentially I'll be out of that phase. My grandmother passed away, things like that. So like I've had a lot of monumental changes, and so I think I'm glad that I did a lot of that before these things kicked off, and that I can kind of see that this was necessary at the time, but that I don't want to almost like use it as a crutch. I'm willing to kind of explore my interests in like cooking and gardening and like using tarot, divining, even exercising in many ways, like just physical exercise, doing that to kind of flesh out what's going on. I'm writing, of course, versus using these, because I do think that it's also like a larger examination of when you get into tarot and how deep into tarot you can get when it comes to like, you'll get into tarot, then you get into meditation, then you may get into like psychedelics, and you might get into, what I'm saying? And it can be a slippery slope depending on like how you're responding to that stuff and how well you're able to integrate these more difficult experiences. And often we are coming to these spaces with a lot of questions and a lot of hurt and pain, if you're being honest. And the ways that I was going through it it's not necessarily the ways I would go through it today. And that's okay. Like, I went through the experiences. I feel like I've had a lot of great experiences doing all the things that I've done with the meditations and Reiki and like taking the Damiana and even like the edible experience. Like, that was really kind of traumatic, I ain't gonna lie. But like, all of those experiences have gotten me here, and I feel like I'm able to integrate and understand that side because I went through that side. So, I definitely think this little Damiana. Thank you, Ritual Craft, for figuring it out. I think I would just would like to learn how to take care of those plants and understand the spiritual energy that they have. Like, if you just keep the plants in your home, like what that represents. Because I kind of feel like spiritual energy is held within the plant, which is why they're being used. Yeah, flying ointment was one of the things also that I wanted to try that I'm not going to try anymore. But yeah, like I'm happy about it. Like I made it through the other side. I just want to learn about the properties of plants and what they can do and like their energy more so than like consuming them, right? I'd rather consume plants when it comes to like my food. Just to be real. And so I'm kind of more excited about that. But yeah, like it's a good phase of my life. I feel like it's a maturation process that I've completed, and I'm happy to like move on from it. And I think I probably will keep the vial, but I won't like partake in it anymore. One, because I said like there's a bunch of particles in there, and two, I don't feel the need to figure my life out by like meditating with a plant enhancing kind of like thing going on there, you know? So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.